morning, everyone. Welcome to Bookswagon. Today with me, I have Durva Devarshi ma'am, the author of her novel The Fantastic Affair of Despair, which is an evocative blend of social realism and narrative imagination. Set across post-independence India and the Himalayan terrain, the book explores gender, identity, survival, and the fragile balance between humanity and the natural world. So, ma'am, let's go on air with Bookwagon. We are really glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here.
Ma'am, before we go to your book, you had a dentist career. So, how did this switch happen?
Right. We were talking about this before, but I think it was a matter of chance, really, that I was always very passionate about stories, and not just about books, but all kinds of storytelling. And when I graduated, it was COVID, and I tried applying for jobs, but then the older dentists were a little skeptical that it's dangerous times. We don't want to take youngsters, young graduates. I was just like, okay, in the meantime, what can I do with my life? So I took my chances with applying to a literary agency, working there. And the more I worked in this area of storytelling, creative life, the more I got passionate about it. And then it just kind of became a one thing after another sort of thing. And in this whole thing, I forgot about dentistry somewhere. And that became a secondary, science became a secondary passion, and creative life became the main thing.
Well, that's great to hear. Ma'am, your book features a protagonist who faces a transformative journey from the urban life to the Himalayas. So, what inspired you to place her in such contrasting environments, and why did you use these settings?
Right. I think from a very that is definitely not the context of the book, but I think every one of us have thought about this, that what if we could change the pace of our lives and just move to a smaller town and not have to live in this really fast pace. That is definitely not what the character is thinking. The character is mostly, she's not a very well actualized character. She is not very in touch with herself, and at every stage of her life, she is sort of looking to escape something. And the Himalayas and her journey is sort of an escape from herself, her circumstances, her life, and that is what she does. And the period that this is based in, the gurus and the sadhus who were kind of doing a lot of ashrams there, they were coming up really big because of their popularization in the West. So I thought that this would be a good place, that she kind of is inspired by this and she wants to go there, but finds that it is not all it is.
Ma'am, your novel explores various themes, as I was talking about: violence, nature, identity, and survival. So, how did you actually balance these themes without overwhelming the narrative? Because all of these themes are actually very strong in themselves.
Right. That's an amazing question. Um, I think it was the idea behind having multiple themes in a short book, because it's like only 250 something pages, right? And it deals with a lot of different issues, and issues that women have gone through, and not just women, there's a few other characters also who do not, are not women. But so the idea was that it is a life lived within a very narrow lens, right? And a narrow lens means a narrow life, right? So if you had to conclude it, it could be concluded in a very short number of pages, right? And the balance was just to like give each stage of her life as little value as possible as we go through it. So it just kind of skips from one stage of her life, from one page to another, because she is also actually not noticing these changes. She is not very aware of her presence. She's very much either within her own mind or completely on automated mode, you know. So that is how the balance, I mean, I'm glad you think that the balance is created. That was the goal of it, but that was how I had aimed it.
Ma'am, your novel shows tension between modernity and tradition. So, has there been any experience of your own which has shaped this portrayal of India's evolving identity?
I mean, I think own in the sense, yes, a lot. I think our generation, we are like stand between modernity and tradition. We are stand right at the junction of it, right? But I think the very first brush I had with it was the cover of John Key's India. It has a man in orange sadhu attire sitting in front of a building which says Internet Cafe on it, and that book cover was left quite an image on me that, oh, it's two different Indias sort of thing. And India is kind of like that we are always in two different worlds who are, you know, they are not fighting with each other, because but they are like seamlessly blending into each other. And that was the time of it, like post independence was the perfect time for it, when we were kind of a new country, building a new life, but also making sure that we don't lose our traditions. So that was how it happened.
Ma'am, your protagonist meets vivid characters in the book, like from a child bride to symbolic natural forces. So, what role do these relationships play in the protagonist's understanding of herself and the world in your novel?
So, the protagonist herself is just a vessel for the larger story, I think, because the idea behind the bigger story is that when we meet anybody, for however short or longer period we might know them, they have a lifelong impact on them, right? I mean, I might meet, now I've met you, so you will have, I will remember you forever, and you will have some kind, this interaction will have some kind of effect on me. And somebody I could have known for years, I might forget them after some period of time. So the character, the protagonist herself, her story is dictated in a lot of ways by these characters that she is meeting, but at the same time she is not very aware of the effect that these characters are having, because she is not, you know, thinking about them a lot, but they are definitely having an effect on them, just like the characters these characters are meeting having an effect on them. And it's just like a interconnectedness of meeting people.
Ma'am, my last question is not about the book, but about you were talking about escapism just in the first response. So, what do you consider your type of escape? What is your escape now?
I have a lot of escapes, honestly. I love to play video games. I love to play with my cat. I love to read. I love to do any kind of crafts. I love to hang out with my friends. I mean, I think once my work is over, I have a very strict work hours, and once they are over, it's all escape after that. So everything post 6 p.m. is just escape. So yeah, it's all sorts of things.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this session. I really had a wonderful conversation with you today. And thank you everyone for being with us here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Durva Devarshi, the author of The Fantastic Affair of Despair, and my book is now available on Bookswagon.com. Thank you.